It's a good start because I can't hear anyone at all. So thank you for that. So please keep your microphone off while the bulk of the presentation is going on. But if you do have a question or a concern or anything, please do either use the raise the hand function or the chat, and we will try and monitor that as we go. And if absolute worst case scenario, then please either wave at the camera and we'll try and spot you, or do interject. Want it to be an opportunity for you to ask questions as we go through. Um, in terms of the meeting itself, there are a couple of votes to do this evening. And just a reminder, if you've got a couple of people from your club here, we know who you are. Russell in the background is working out who's here, and it is only one vote per club, so not one per person in the meeting. So in due course, when we get to the first vote, Russell will tell me how many we've got. And it is a straight majority in this situation. There's no proxy voting, so it's a relatively straightforward exercise. Unless anyone's got any immediate questions about the practicalities, we will kick straight off with the content of the meeting. I'll just pause there. If not, just a quick hello to everyone. I won't do the boring go around the room. I've introduced myself. We've also got on a call from the board, Phil Brayley, who's our liaison director. From the staff, Dave, who most of you will know as Director of Performance Participation. Nick, you definitely will know as the league manager. And Russell is also here doing all the hard work in the background with scoring, entrances, numbers, etc., and voting. So thank you all. Covered the introduction housekeeping, I think. Unless my colleagues think I've missed anything, please shout. If not, we'll move swiftly on to apologies. Do we have any to note?
We've had
Either
no
Nick,
apologies apart from Tom Russell, who's on holiday,
Tom Russell,
but
yeah, from
all
Squash
of the clubs
Wales.
who have replied.
No problem. Okay, that's great. Good. Everybody's here. And of course, just a reminder, if you are here, your club gets 5 points for attending. Is that five per team, Nick, or is that five
It's
per
five
team?
points per team in
Oh,
each
there you
club
go.
attending,
So
yes.
well worth attending then. Right, good. So thank you to those that are here.
They have to say at the end of the meeting, though.
That's true. And we will, just for the record, it is based on attendance, not registration. So if you've registered and not turned up, that doesn't count. And if you're not here at the end, it doesn't count. So please stick around and we will process that in due course at the start of the season. We'll move swiftly on then to test. I've got a test vote going to come up here. So as I mentioned, there will be a couple of votes. We've got a motion and we need to adopt some um, league committee members as well. So as part of that process, there is an online voting process. What should happen in a moment when Russell presses the button is you're going to see a test vote come up. This doesn't count for anything in particular other than just to physically test that you're capable of voting from wherever and whatever device you're using. You'll see the question on the screen now. Squash should be compulsory for all school-age children, so a bit of a fun question. Any moment now, when Russell gives me the thumbs up,
Yeah.
that will pop up on your screen. Depending on device, it might be slightly different, but you should have a mechanism with which to vote. So, do you want to
Here
try
we
it out,
go.
Russell?
It's going to come on now. There were some people that entering the meeting,
No
so
problem.
here
That's
you
all right.
go.
Say when. Okay, that is up on my screen here, so everyone else should be able to see that. And we'll leave that up for probably 10-15 seconds just to give you a chance. It's the first one we're going to do. Give it a go. I think 5 more seconds. Okay, let's close that, Russell. And are you going to read the results or are you going to pop them on the screen?
They'll come. They should come up any
Okay,
second now.
all right. There we go. Okay. Right, that's good. That's a good sign that we've had it works for people. So thank you very much for doing that, folks, just to make sure the system's working. And we will move swiftly on then. I think the next slide is just some apologies from Tom Rosser. Yeah, okay, we haven't got any others, so keep going, Nick. I'll just cover these off. So last time we did meet actually in November when we were talking about league structures, but that was not an AGM, it was a league general meeting. So the last AGM was this time last year. The minutes were available on the website for the last year, but just for governance processes, we have gone through all the actions from them. So Nick has kindly updated on the screen all his actions. I think they were all his from
They
the
were.
last meeting. I'm sorry, Nick, they were all yours. They have all been completed. Do you want to say anything about those, Nick, or? Are you happy that all
Not really,
done and
Richard.
no
I'd say all,
issues?
all the actions have been completed. I want to thank everyone for getting the information in on time for the spring season. That's much appreciated. And everything else just sort of went through smoothly. All the changes have been made and they're available on the LCR.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. And I think the Aurori one was a discussion with clubs, and it was agreed obviously after the meeting it would remain as is. So that's fine. That obviously happened. So thank you for doing that. Okay, we'll move very swiftly on then to, unless anyone's got any questions, let me quickly scan through just to make sure. No, there's no hands up. Sorry, folks. I'm just making sure there's no questions. Possibly one in the chat. Oh, yeah, no problem. Just a late arrival. Okay, let's move on then, Nick, to the league committee. Over to you.
Thank you, Richard, and welcome everybody. Yes, as you know, we have a league committee. Its main role is to support myself in the operation and delivery of the leagues, ensuring that all the constitutional rules are fit for purpose and are appropriately applied. The committee acts as a sounding board where we get questions from clubs, and if there are any suggested to change the rules, then the committee will review those as well. The league committee has two permanent members, myself as chair and Phil as the board member, plus up to 7 other league committee members, and these are elected on a year-by-year basis. The current league committee is shown on the screen here. We have Arwell Jones, Mel Davis, Richard Drinkwater, Sally Davis. Pat Westlake has decided to stand down from the league committee. I'd like to thank Pat for myself and on behalf of the league committee for all the effort and work he's put in over the last few seasons. It is very much appreciated. Nick Dye joined the league committee about a season and a half ago, and I've had no further nominations received. So as it stands, the current league committee is up for re-election. So if I pass that back to Richard.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much. So I'll just pause there unless there are any nominations from the floor. There is capacity for up to 7, isn't there, in addition to the 2
Correct.
standing members. Just scanning through, I don't see anyone sticking their hand up or throwing anyone under the bus to join. And I will just to reiterate thanks for those that have helped out on that. It's very valuable time that you give to that. So as we're doing a re-election of those standing members, the proposal is we do them en masse or en bloc rather than vote for individuals. So Russell, if you could go ahead with the vote for that, please. And this will be a simple majority. So it's elect the league committee as shown. So those names you saw on your screen. Okay, I think we'll give that 5 more seconds. Let's close that, Russell, if you can show us the results. Okay, thank you very much. That's much appreciated. So that's carried by a majority, simple majority. Thank you. And congratulations to those who are committing to do that again. Thank you again. Let's move on then to league constitution and rules. Nick, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Richard. Again, as I said earlier, the league constitutional rules have been updated after last year's AGM. There were quite a few changes to be made. All those have now been done, and as I say, they are available on the LCR, which is available on the Squash Wales website. Again, we've gone through the same process this year. I did write out to all club leads a couple of times asking if there are any proposals to changing the rules, then they should submit any new proposed wording. I've not received any proposed changes to the rules, apart from one which came in from Swansea, which is shown here. It's the Premier Annual Championship playoff proposal from Swansea. This was sent out to all the clubs a week or so ago for review, and basically is proposing that in the Premier 1 division, when we have a different winner of the Winter League and the Spring League, then when there's an annual playoff, then the team that won the winter season would have an opportunity of hosting that playoff. If that hosting team did not want to do it for some reason, it would then go to the spring spring winners to host if they should wish to do so. And again, if they don't want to do it, then it will be down to Squash Wales to run the Premiership annual match at Sophia Gardens in Cardiff. So that's the proposal that's been put forward by Swansea. I appreciate some people have fed back on this, that they have some concerns on this. So I'd like to open the floor really for, I think it was Merthyr and Bridgend who had some concerns about the proposal. Would you like to say anything at the
Yeah,
meeting
can I
tonight?
I'll just,
I'm sorry.
just before we do that, Nick, I just want to confirm to people there are no changes to, other than this, there are no other changes to the league rules this year. This is the only thing we need to discuss tonight, is this amendment to the hosting of the final match, essentially the playoff of the winter and the spring.
That is
So,
absolutely correct.
yeah, sorry, I
Other
just want to make
than
sure everyone is aware of that. So we've not glossed over any rule changes. It's just this is the only thing on the table this evening, isn't it?
this is
So,
certainly the only proposal from another club
yeah,
to make a change. The only other change that will take place, which are very minutiae, is that at the moment we have three geographical regions listed on the LCR: West Central, East Central, South Central. That will obviously need to change to the Southeast and
yeah.
the Southwest, but it's a very minor change.
Housekeeping thing. Yeah. Okay. So sorry to interject there, but I just
No,
wanted to
no
be
problem
clear
at all.
before we jump straight into this. I know there may be some comments from the floor on this, so I will just have a quick look through. I can't see hands up at the moment, and I'm quite happy if Justin is here from Swansea, who's the club who proposes. If you want to speak a little bit more to this, or any others are David How, I think that's you. Please feel free, come off mute and say what you wish.
Hi guys. Yeah, so my views on this that I shared with Nick after the proposal were that I was at the playoff final in Swansea. Fantastic atmosphere, fantastic event, really enjoyed it. However, the proposal states that no club who can not fit in more than 60 spectators should be allowed to host it, the conditions for hosting, so that automatically makes it an unfair advantage that there would be very few clubs that could actually gain the advantage of home advantage should they win the first half. So I'm not against the playoff being hosted by the club, and if it's going to be the winter season, the first half who gets first refusal, no issue with that. But I don't think we can put into our league constitution and rules a rule that automatically favours big clubs and doesn't allow smaller clubs to have the same home advantage should they make the final.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very fair comment, I think. Anyone else like to speak regarding this proposal?
Yeah. Can I talk?
Yeah,
Can
who's
you?
that? Just tell us who you are.
Yeah, it's Justin from Swansea.
Yeah, please go ahead, Justin. Go on.
Yeah, just to put people in the picture, I mean, it was Dave Olnett who came up with this proposal. He's, very keen to get things, like happening in the club and in squash in general. I don't think that 60-person, rule is a big deal, to be honest. And I agree with the previous. I don't know the name who spoke earlier. Just spoke that it does seem a bit unfair, and I'm sure we'd be happy to go with whoever can host it. If they want to host it, they should be allowed to host it, regardless of how many people they can fit in, if they qualify. And I don't think 60 should be the minimum. It shouldn't make a difference. It should be for the benefit of the club.
Okay, thank you very much. That's okay.
That's
So
my
can I take that, Justin, and you're here as the member on behalf of Swansea. If
Yeah.
we put this to the vote, do we remove the 60 spectators?
Yeah, I think so. I think and I don't see why it has to be 60.
Okay. Okay, so I think if we do move to a vote, this will become an amended motion, which will reduce that, and it'll just be essentially, well, there'll be no minimum if we
Yeah.
wish. That's assuming that we move on to a vote. We'll come back to Luke. You wish to speak? Just tell us what club you're from, Luke.
Hi, guys. I apologise about the background. I'm playing work background. I'm Luke from St. Mellons, but just to kind of reiterate really what David said, I think it kind of discounts quite a lot of clubs, certainly the smaller clubs. And for me, I know I'm from a Cardiff club, but regardless of that, I think something like this should be played centrally in Sapphire Gardens to kind of show off the best of Welsh squash as the home of Welsh squash in particular. So just kind of put that out there really.
Okay. Okay. Oh, Alex, you're up. Go on. Just tell everyone where
Alex
you're from, Alex, in case they don't know. Sorry.
from Rabina. I don't personally have a massively strong opinion on this, but Swansea did a fantastic job of hosting and making it a big event. My worry would be it's kind of written as it's very much on that host club to take on the responsibility of, providing refreshments and all that sort of stuff. And then obviously hosting for all the members who want to show up, which I think is quite a hard burden. So personally, I think a neutral venue run by Squash Wales is what I'd personally vote for. Just because I just think it's quite a lot to ask of, if Bridgend win it and then Bridgend get 60 people who want to turn up and they can only, look after 30 or something. It's quite a large ask in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other views from the floor?
Can you hear me, Rich?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go on.
I agree with Luke and Alex. I think it should be run from Sophia Gardens. We should be showcasing the best squash in Wales, and we should make a spectacle of it. If we could live stream it, get people down there, put some sort of event on to make it a bit special. We need to show squash off a bit better, and the majority of clubs can't hold 60 people. I say Merthyr probably could hold 60 people, not for one court, but with a leisure centre, and we could have people going to karate, swimming, walking past. So I think Sophia Gardens would be the best place, and we should encourage people to turn up. Well, you've said you're giving 5 points tonight for turning up for a meeting. Maybe we need to give 5-10 points for people to turn up to see the best teams in Wales play squash.
Okay, that's a motion for next year, that bit. But okay, yeah. Thank you. Anybody else like to comment before we put this to the vote?
Yes, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, sorry, who's that?
Justin again from Swansea.
Yes, go on. Yeah, go on.
I mean, I agree with what everyone's saying here, and but if you read the detail, it does give everyone the option. It's not saying anyone has to host it. It can literally, if a club doesn't want to or can't provide the refreshments or can't, doesn't think they can fill it or doesn't have the capacity or anything, they just hand it over back to Squash Wales or to the team that's involved. I think the whole idea behind it was to try and generate more interest within the club that does it, generate a bit more money, a bit more excitement. I think that, this was the first time we've done that, and we've, had a couple of other events this year, and they've gone down so well. You think, other clubs should get involved and try and do the same. I do understand that, a lot of clubs run out of leisure centres and, et cetera, and there's smaller clubs and they wouldn't be able to host it, but they don't have to. At the end of the day, they can just, choose to have it at Squash Wales if they make it through to the final. So I think this option's great because it gives everyone literally an option. Nobody has to do anything, and people that can benefit, will. That's
Okay.
That's it. Thanks.
Right. No, thank you. And there's one comment just in the chat in case you haven't all seen it. Nick Dyer suggests if the club, does not wish to host, it goes automatically to Squash Wales rather than to the other club. Okay, so essentially there isn't a second option. Okay, good discussion. And I think the fairest thing to do here is to put this to the vote as it stands, and a healthy discussion, and let's see what the outcome of that vote is, and we go from there. That's probably the most democratic thing we can do at this point. It does sound like there's quite differing opinions, so good reason to put this to the vote. So unless anyone's got a burning desire to say anything final, I'll ask Russell to open up the vote on this, please.
Yeah, so Richard, I've named this one Adopt the Premier League Annual Champion Venue Proposal with amendments as discussed.
Yeah, that's fine. So yes, in this case, it would be the 60 spectators would drop off if it passes, but otherwise it's as it stands on the screen right now. Okay. Okay. Let's close that, Russell, and let's have the big reveal. Okay. Oh, there we go. So 62% in favour of allowing essentially a team to host or a club to host. Reminding people that there is an opportunity there. If you don't want to, can't do, it still will revert to Fire Gardens and will be hosted by Squash Wales as per previous. So, okay, democracy will reign there, and we will see how that goes. So, thank you for your contributions to that. Much appreciated. And we'll move swiftly on then to league structure feedback, I think, is the next thing. I think, Dave, this is over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. Do you want to put the slide on, Nick? Or yeah, as obviously everyone knows, we had a change, the league restructure through the season, and as we said at the last meeting, we'd give everyone the opportunity to feedback, see how it went. So if there was any little amendments that we could do moving forward, all the club leads had correspondence from Russell to provide feedback, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. A couple of points raised, little notes on number of games, little things here and there, but actually overall the actual feedback has been positive. No one decided to use the hub, so obviously that was put in as a sort of midway point for people, but that wasn't utilised. And if anything, like we said, we saw actually, I know a lot of people said we'd see a decrease in members. We actually saw an increase in members. So just off the back of that, of the feedback we've had from all the clubs, the league structure will remain the same moving forward. And then obviously Nick can explain a little bit more how which teams are in what league, as in where they finished, not another restructure from there.
Okay, thank you, Dave. I mean, as you say, that the key metric here was the membership numbers, and if they've A, gone up, and B, the net increase of teams for next season. That was the purpose of doing this. So I think thank you for the feedback. I don't think there's any great discussion to be had. That was always the agreement. We would restructure and see what the fallout was, and if clubs have not raised major issues and numbers have gone up, or that's a good outcome. So I think, Nick, we're back to you then for some more practicalities around the season to come.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Thank you. Yes, the league structure for winter 2026 principles and processes. I did circulate a league structure in the last week or so, but literally within the last 24 hours, there have been some changes made with 7 clubs dropping teams and other clubs putting teams in. So I will have to look at redoing the winter 2026. It's only a little bit of fine tuning. It won't be massively different, but rather than try and rush this through for tonight, I'll give it some more thought. I will circulate that round to the clubs probably in the next week or so. But I would say if there are any clubs that do want to add more teams or want to withdraw teams, please let me know as soon as possible so I can get that in place then, ready for the winter season. What I can say is that the current LCR algorithms will be applied and promotions and relegations from spring 2026 with minor adjustments will be made, and I will do my level best to keep the leagues as balanced and as competitive as possible. The new teams we have for winter 26 are Abergavenny C. They dropped out halfway through the spring, but are now back. Caldicot B have put in an extra team. Llethley Leisure A have put in a team I think for the first time for about a year or so. We have an extra team in the Exiles down in Pembrokeshire, and Cardiff H are putting in a team as well for winter 2026. We have had 1 or 2 drop out after the spring. The Vale B decided they can't field a second team, so Vale B will drop out. The Cardiff University B team has gone. Most of the B team have now completed their studies and have left, so there will only 2 Cardiff Uni teams renamed A and B. And I heard today that Llantrison A are also dropping out from the Premiership. So again, that will have ramifications on how that structure will look.
Sorry to jump in, Nick. In the chat, my stake want to add another team. My stake C. That was in the chat.
Hot off the press. There you go.
Just to let you know. All right.
Thank you very much,
James.
And thank you to my stake. This is if you like, highlights why it's difficult to make these kind of choices until I've got all the teams in. But yeah, if anyone else has any more teams to put in, then please let me know, and I will redo the Winter 2026 leagues and circle it around to the clubs in plenty of time.
Thanks, Nick. I think we're always happy to squeeze in. If teams want to play, let us know. We'll do the honours. You'll do the honours as best you can, won't you, to get them in?
Exactly right. Exactly. If there's any comments on that at the moment, I don't know if anyone wants anything to say about that. Or shall I move on?
Let's have a quick look. I don't see any hands up, so yeah, let's move on to the next
Okay,
slide.
perfect. In that case, then, looking forward to the Winter 2026. The dates have been published. Winter 2026 will start on Monday, the 14th of September, and run right through until Friday, the 18th of December. That's 14 weeks back to back, and there will be no breaks in that. The spring dates have also been announced. That will start on Monday, the 11th of January, right through till Friday, the 30th. I have left Easter free, a 2-week break in Easter. This seemed to work well last spring. It gives clubs an opportunity, if they do have to rearrange games, it gives them a window of opportunity to try and fit those rearrangements in, and it also means it's not too interruptive then on family life with people going away for Easter breaks. So those are the dates for the Winter 2026 and Spring 2027. To make Winter 2026 happen, there are a few things I will need from clubs. Basically, I will publish the fixtures in League Master by Monday, the 31st of August. This will give clubs then 2 weeks clear notice to book courts. I know some clubs, particularly if they're using leisure centres, do need that window to make sure they get their bookings in. So I will get it out by the 31st of August, giving 2 clear weeks before the first match is on 14th September. For that to happen, however, I do need something from you, and that means that you have to have your team home nights and start times to me before Monday, the 17th of August, earlier if possible. But until I have those team nights and start times, I can't put the fixtures together because I have to make sure there's no home clashes for fixtures. So there's the first date in the diary, if you like, Monday, the 17th of August. I will need a final list of home nights and numbers of team and start times. Obviously, we need to get ranking lists in as well before the league starts. And I will send out the players' squash levels to all clubs on Monday, the 31st of August, using the latest squash levels data. That will be the line in the sand. That was what people's SL number will be. And we will use that then for the rankings. So clubs will then have 1 week to get their ranking list back to me. I think most clubs will have ranked their teams already by that stage. And the data from squash levels will simply be a justification that they've got their rankings correct within the 20% variance that we have. So I say the ranking list need to be with me by Monday the 7th of September. That gives me then 1 week to make sure that League Master is updated with the latest names ready for the start of the season on the 14th of September. Are there any questions about any of those dates?
Nothing obvious at the moment. Nick?
There's a question in the chat.
Yeah, sorry,
sorry, Nick. I can't find my hands up button, so I put it in.
That's all right. Go on. Go with your question. Go on.
Just a quick one. If it's so beneficial to break for a couple of weeks in spring, why don't we do it in winter also?
That's a good question, and it's more about it's the time frames. If we had a break in, let's say 1 week break in the winter season, that would extend it out to 15 weeks, which means either starting earlier or finishing later. I don't think we can finish any later than the 18th of December because that takes us into Christmas. Obviously, I don't think anybody would welcome me doing that. Agreed. Starting it a week earlier is a possibility, but then you get into things like schools and ends of holidays, that kind of thing. If it's something people feel strongly about, and they want to send me any sort of comments on this, we could look at starting the winter season earlier next year and having that 1 week break in. But again, it very much depends on the dates. I think there's a hand up from Phil.
Hand up, yeah. Phil.
The main reason for these breaks is because we have bank holidays in the spring and people are regularly away, and it's difficult to field teams. So that's the main reason why these breaks have been put in the spring.
Yeah.
All right. Is that okay, Mark?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay. So next slide, Squash Wales.
Thanks.
Sorry, Nick, anything else to add?
No, just say thanks, Richard, and just thanks to all the teams for all the support for the last season. If the data comes to me in time, I can get things up and things happen in the appropriate time. So thanks for your support with that. I'm now going to hand over back to Dave, I think, for Squash Wells update.
Yeah, just only a quick update regarding obviously with the leagues. We're looking at implementing a cup competition for Wales for the league teams next season or this upcoming season. So emails will be going out probably by early next week, if not the end of this week, getting an expression of interest from each of the clubs about having a sort of standalone cup competition. When we get the detail in from how many clubs, then we can sort of work around the fixtures. It'll be more on a flexible basis, as in each round will have to be played by a certain date rather than it has to be played on that particular day. Just to give you an idea, but keep looking out for an email the end of this week, early next week, with details on how the cup competition will work and expressions of interest from the clubs.
And Dave, I think fair to say this was something that Nick's already asked in the channel. Yes,
across all
this
the
is
Wales,
what
Nick,
yes. The intention is once the entries are in, we will do this, I think, on a regional basis to start with, depending on who enters. But the intention is to try and it's something we talked about, I think, in November, if not last AGM, that we would roll out a national cup alongside the league, just for a bit of extra interest and potentially a bit of a, you could see a North team playing a South team at some stage in that competition, which could be quite entertaining. Something else we may well host, perhaps at Sport Wales. So thank you, Dave. I think that is potentially quite an exciting addition to the programme.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, unless there's any particular, and as Dave said, wait for the email will come out with all the practical details of that, but there's just an early heads up that is going to exist this year. And will all teams be eligible? Yes, I think so, Dave.
Yeah, all teams.
And I think the reason we can't say it'll be X or Y format is until we see the entrance, the entries. We can't say it'll be this many rounds, etc. So, you want to answer that one, Dave? Handicaps?
No, it won't be handicapped. No.
Nope. It's be essentially a straight knockout, won't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on then to AOBs. And we haven't had any submitted in advance, so these are only the ones that, unless anyone's got any competent business they want to raise now, please do. Okay, Adrian, perhaps we'll just let's deal with your question now. So just people may not have seen this in the chat. It's an observation. A good number of matches in South East One last year went beyond 3 hours duration. Brilliantly competitive, but court time can be a challenge and extra cost at leisure centres. Please can opponents turn up on time to matches ready to begin promptly? I think that's a fair request, isn't it? And I think if you've got persistent trouble, you should let Nick know. Okay.
Yes, please do. And I think it's good to see that the competitiveness is improving, which is one of the main exercises of changing the league structure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Sorry? Did someone have a hand up?
Yeah, no? just saying thanks for that. Yeah, just it was brilliantly competitive. But yeah, I know there were challenges down some of the matches for being kicked off courts or light times generally at leisure centres. So just long may it continue. I'm not proposing to change that we don't play to 15, but if everyone get there on time and make sure that the court bookings are covered, it will make a better experience for everyone.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and that's in one way that's a good problem, isn't it? If it's competitive, we like that. So let's help each other out though by being there on time. Okay, no other AOBs then that I'm aware of or that anyone wants to raise. Any of my colleagues, Swash Wales or board, want to raise anything? No. Okay, so then only final bit of business is just to confirm here that the League AGM next year will be on the equivalent date, which will be Wednesday, 30th of June 2027. So please put that in your diary and consider this the formal notification of that date. And otherwise, I would just note my thanks to Nick and colleagues from Squash Wales for seeming to keep things running pretty smoothly, touch wood. I haven't heard of too many problems or have been involved in any major disciplinary issues over the last season, which is remarkable actually and quite nice. And long may that continue. So thank you to all the clubs as well for you're getting games played and playing it in the right spirit. So thank you for that, folks. And that brings us to the close of the meeting. So thank you. You are free to go with 5 points in your pocket.
Thank you, Richard.
Thanks,
See you
all.
next- Thanks.